What is going on, y'all? FatManRants here. And today, gonna have a little bit different of a video, but at the same time, kind of the same theme. It's not an update video. Believe it or not, it's not an update video. I know at this point, I upload more update videos than regular videos, it seems, because I got a somewhat hectic life, comparatively. However, today is not that. So today is a rant video. And in this rant video, well, you already can probably guess based on the title, I'm going to be talking about Suddenlink. Now, in my last video, detailed why I haven't been able to upload videos for about the last week. And in short, for those that didn't watch it, it is because I haven't had internet. And I haven't had internet because Suddenlink, essentially, didn't want to get out here to fix it, and technicians, although not being entirely aligned with Suddenlink, were not all that reliable. However, I break the fourth wall here. I had just eaten some hot chips, literally red hot Utz chips, and they're fucking delicious, and I love them. And then, like an idiot, I scratched my eye, because boy, that hurt, and now I'm crying. So, that aside, I'm also taking some water. Very unprofessional for a podcast-esque video, but I've also never claimed to be professional. So, or at least not on YouTube. At work, sure. At home, hell no. But anyway, back to Suddenlink. In my last video, I had detailed my recent endeavors with Suddenlink and the bullshit I went through. And I mentioned how this is far from my first negative interaction with the company. And for those of us that have Suddenlink, y'all will know. Because this is not a rare occurrence, by any means. And today, I'm going to share with you two specific occurrences, not incurrences, that's not a word. Probably is a word, not the word I need to use. Occurrences of why I just don't like Suddenlink. Now, in a general scheme, not trying to bring up anything political, I guess. It's not politics, but ISPs are internet service providers. Most people know in America, and in most parts of America, essentially run monopolies. You know, in Greenville, I think we have like 2 internet service providers. I think we have Suddenlink and CenturyLink. But CenturyLink is just, they aren't as widespread, and they're also not as powerful as Suddenlink. So most people feel they have to go with Suddenlink. And so most people do. And it's like that all over the place. You know, back in my hometown, where my mom lives, and this will be the second portion of this rant, Suddenlink's all they got. You know? And my mom's currently in a situation where she is currently without internet because of that. And like I said, I will elaborate on that in a second. But for now, so before me and my girlfriend moved into this house that we currently live in, we lived in an apartment with a bunch of my other friends. And over the course of that time, it was me and 2 friends, 2 buddies from high school. I'll just say, no, I won't say their names, just in case. But 2 of my friends, we moved in there together. It was our first time, well, it was their first time moving away from their parents. And it was my first time living in housing other than a dorm room away from my mom. And, I mean, things were fun. But eventually, one of them moved out because he moved in with his girlfriend. And so then another one of my buddies moved in his place. Well, then eventually the second original roommate moved out, once again with his girlfriend. And then I had a female friend of mine, a gay female friend of mine, move in with me, my girlfriend, and my other buddy. And, well, that was that. We had our qualms, we had our quarrels, but that's not here nor there. So, when it came time to move out, I was moving out, my other buddy was moving out, but my female friend was staying. And because of this, I wanted to try to make it as easy on her as possible. So, the option that I could have taken was to essentially just do a proper move out. You know, remove my name entirely from the lease, you know, get my deposit back, cancel the electric, cancel the internet, you know, do all that sort of stuff. And then let her just go through the formal moving in process. But with having to do that, there were a couple key things that would make things difficult for her. One was she would have to reapply, so she'd have to repay the application fee. She would also then, with her new roommates, have to pay a deposit, have to pay first month's rent, and then also when it came to the internet and electric, have to apply for them, you know, again, pay their deposits if they required them. And on top of that, our contract with the leasing office was we rented that. It was a 3-bedroom townhouse apartment for $950. However, if we let that contract expire, then the new contract would be for $1,100. So $150 more. Which, you know, when you add that up to having to pay first month's rent, having to pay a deposit, having to pay a deposit on the electric and all that stuff, it can be a lot of money. And I, in an act of what I'm going to call charity, but what most people will call stupidity, decided to forego some certain aspects for the sake of making it easy on my, well, former best friend and former roommate. And so I decided to forego my deposit. And instead of canceling the electric, the internet, and the lease, we would just transfer everything over to her. This would save her from having to pay first month's rent, from having to pay a deposit, and the monthly rate would not increase because it would be on the same contract. However, it would then, it would be up to her to facilitate the transfer. You know, they wouldn't come in to clean anything because that's, in their mind, not their responsibility, you know. No one's, you know, we're not moving out. She's not rebuying it or re-renting it, you know. She's just continuing to live there, you know. But that aside, so we transferred the electric over. That was easy peasy. Transferred the lease over. That was easy peasy. And transferring the internet was supposed to be, well, easy peasy. All we had to do was we got a form. I filled out my section. She filled out her section. And then all she had to do was take it somewhere to fax it off, which was perfect because at the time her dad worked at Staples, and Staples offers, you know, to fax things off for a small fee, but her dad could use the service for free. Or at least that's what I was led to believe. That's what we talked about, whatever. So me and my girlfriend walked away from that apartment. We moved, you know, out of town, you know, went somewhere completely else. And that was that. Or so I thought. So about 3 months later, I see on, it was Snapchat or Facebook or something, that Kayla had moved into a new apartment. And I was like, her lease should not have been up yet. And so I got back up with her and essentially said, you know, hey, did you move out of the apartment? You know, and she explained to me, yeah, you know, I did. Things just really didn't work out with me and my 2 roommates. you know, and financially they were starting to slack and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I then decided to ask 3 months afterwards, hey, when did you move out? She was like, about 2 months ago, about a month after you moved out. I was like, oh. I was like, okay, did you ever transfer the internet over? You know, out of my name? And she was just like, no. And I was like, are you kidding me? She said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, sorry, it's fine. I'll call Suddenlink now. I'll tell them to cancel it. She said, okay, I'm sorry for any trouble that it could cause. And I was like, well, I mean, did y'all pay the internet? And she was like, well, I did while I was there. I was like, okay, well, hopefully they continue. Well, I called up Suddenlink and, you know, obviously almost everything's automated. So it was like, found 2 accounts with your phone number, you know, account number 2, which was the old one. And they were like, all right, yeah, you owe us $211. I was like, ew, no. So here's where I'm going to kind of fast forward because this is a different level of drama other than Suddenlink. And while I could talk about this for hours, like I said, it's not important to the whole why I hate Suddenlink argument. I went back and forth between the other girl and her friend. And I essentially kept getting run around. Her friend kept saying, yes, I'll pay it. Don't worry. Just, you know, I need to find the money. Blah, blah, blah. Then she doesn't pay it. You know, I keep checking every so often. The bill keeps going up and up and up incrementally because she's not paying. And so I finally, you know, snapped to her. I'm like, look, you're about to have to owe a lot of money. And that a lot of money is on my account, so that's hurting my credit. Please, pay it. That's all I need. Which, looking back on it, that was dumb of me. That was where I made the big mistake. Because it wasn't her responsibility to pay it. You know, obviously that was the right thing to do. But there was nothing making her pay it. And she took full advantage of that. I mean, she blocked me. She blocked, you know, my friend, her old roommate. You know, she even blocked my girlfriend who tried to get in touch with her. And just ghosted. And so me trying to find some way to get a hold of her and also kind of being a dick about it, I actually called the leasing office trying to get in touch with her. And that's when the leasing office had notified me that she had been evicted for 3 months of unpaid rent. And I said, well, something tells me I'm not getting, I'm not going to get that bill taken care of. So I call up Suddenlink that day. Keep in mind, the bill is at like $280, right? And I say, look, I talk to an actual person. I say, look, here's the whole situation, right? I will pay this $280. It's on my account. It was my mistake. I don't have the money to pay it right now, though. So please, shut off the account. I can't afford for this bill to go up anymore because I'm already paying my own internet bill at my actual house on top of rent and electric and all sorts of, you know, facets of life. Shut the account down. Person said, okay, do not worry. The account is already in the process of being shut down. The router has been returned, or the router and modem has been returned, so it will be shut down. And I said, okay. So if I call in, you know, like a week when I get paid to pay this, it won't be more than $280, right? And he said, yes, you are correct. I said, are you sure? He said, yes, you are correct. I said, okay, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Week later, get paid, call Suddenlink. Your bill is $340. What? So, call customer service again. And I said, why am I still being charged money? And it was like, well, your account's still active. I'm like, why is it still active? I was like, well, it hasn't been canceled yet. I'm like, why not? And they were like, well, it won't be canceled until we can get someone out there to shut the internet off. I'm like, well, then get someone out there to shut the internet off. Because that house currently has no one living in it. No one. Like I said, previous tenants had been evicted. No one else had moved in. The router and modem had been returned. I don't live there anymore. And I've already told you once to shut it off. They're like, all right, well, you know, it will be shut off once someone gets out there to shut it off. I said, okay, schedule someone ASAP to get out there to shut it off. And they said, we can't do that. I said, why not? And they said, well, because it went 3 months without getting paid, it's in a suspend. It's in a wow, I can't speak. And that's the whole point of this video. It's in a state of suspended service. So essentially what that means is you just have to wait. I said, I can't afford to wait anymore. This bill's already gone up to $340. And last week it was $280. And I was told it wouldn't go up any more than that because my account was in the process of being shut off. And they were like, yeah, your account is in the process of being shut off. I'm like, yeah, it has been for a week. Why has it still not been shut off? And they're like, can't tell you that. I'm like, unacceptable. Because you are costing me a lot of money that I should not be having to pay. So, if you can't give me my money back that I'm going to have to pay, then I at least want an answer as to why I have to pay it. I was like, am I being unreasonable with that? Like, I was getting a big attitude. Because that's bullshit. You should never, ever, in customer service, do that to a customer. Say, yeah, no, don't worry, we're not going to charge you for this. And then proceed to charge them out the ass for it. That's lying. And obviously, you can say, well, it was your fault. You never got it in writing or whatever. I know Suddenlink records their calls. So I know the call of that guy telling me, don't worry, it won't increase past 280, was recorded. And I even said that to her. I was like, ma'am, are these calls recorded? And she said, yes, every single one. I said, well, then I need to pull up the recording of my last call with customer service to where the guy told me very clearly it would not increase any further. And she said, we cannot do that. I said, why not? And she said, that is out of our control. I'm like, then why do you record it? And she says, well, to ensure, quality and for training services. I'm like, exactly. You are not ensuring quality because I'm being lied to. And in being lied to, I'm being charged a sizable amount of money, for a college student. $60 is food for a week for me. Or a new video game. Not that that's as important, but, I don't get paid all that much. I'm a part-time worker going to college full-time. So I need all the money I can get. But anyway, get out of that conversation. I said, okay, well, can I just pay this? And she says, yes, you can. Let me transfer you to the paying department. I mean, she was ready to get my ass off the line. And I was like, okay. So I wait on hold for 25 minutes. I finally speak to someone. I get straight to the point. I'm here to pay for this account. And he says, I'm so sorry, you cannot just yet. And I said, why the hell not? And he said, well, if you pay for, or what he explains it to me was I could pay for it, but because the account is still in suspension and it hasn't been canceled yet, that I would continue to generate a balance. So even if I were to pay it now, all it would do was remove that suspension. And then I would be charged another month's bill. And I said, why? And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, why do I have to pay more money? And he said, I don't believe I understand. I'm like, I can kind of guess that. It kind of seems like this whole company doesn't understand that 2 weeks ago I told you very plainly, cancel the account. I don't live there. No one lives there. There's no Rotom. No Rotom. Not a Pokemon. There's no router. There's no modem. There's nothing there for you to charge me for. So stop charging me so I can pay this bill without having to give up food for a week. And he was just like, okay, I will cancel your account right now. You will just have to give it roughly another day or two for the cancellation to go through. So that way you won't be charged anymore. I said, all right. And this is where I tried to get smart with it. I said, okay, what is my bill at currently? And he said, $341 and like 90-something cents. I said, okay. Now, this is recorded, right? And he said, yes, sir, it is. I said, okay. Because I'm going to have this recorded because I've had 2 other customer service representatives lie to my ear about this. Will I be charged any more money than the amount you just told me? And he said, no, sir, you will not. I said, thank you. Have a good day. I will be calling back tomorrow. He said, I would suggest give it at least 2 days. I said, okay, if I wait that extra day, will I be charged anymore? He said, no, sir, I promise you, you will not. I said, thank you. That's the best thing I've been told in 2 weeks. Have a good one. I hung up. I waited 2 days. I called Suddenlink back. They told me the account balance, $375. I said, okay, I'll pay it. I was done screaming. I was done being angry. I was done yelling. I was done arguing. I literally said to the guy, I said, fuck it, I'll pay it. And I paid it. And I will say, that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. I haven't had to deal with it since, but it was still the simple fact of it started at $240. I said cancel the account so it won't increase anymore. They said okay. Then a week later I called back. It was at $330, or it was at it was at $280. And I called back and it was at $340. And it promised me again it will not increase. Don't worry about it. It will not increase. Call back in 2 days. Call back in 2 days, $375. You know how ridiculous that is? Obviously you do. Anyone that's listened this far or listening to this period, y'all aren't stupid. But that is part 1 of why I despise Suddenlink. This video went on a little longer than I thought, but that's okay because I'm trying to put out some content for you guys to listen to, entertain you, whatever. So next video, I will talk about my mom's scenario. Because honestly, that scenario is even more infuriating in my mind. But I will see you guys in the next video or next part of this rant. See you then.